All right, cool.
All right, so we're recording this the day after the Suns have went up 3-0, and it kind of gives me the question, like, is this Phoenix Suns team the best, like, team Chris Paul has ever had? Like, I know, like, you can compete with, like, the Hornets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Tyson Chandler, David West, Peja Stojakovic, Chris Paul. That's a pretty dangerous unit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got, like you were saying, the Clippers.
Yeah, like I'd always, and maybe this is, just like a kind of rose-tinted thing, because like for the Grizzlies,
So you in the front.
like, because like for the Grizzlies, they were always like a pain in the. They were a pain in the ass, not so much because like they existed, but because every time you look up, we have like the grit and grinders that play them. But like I always kind of thought that like those Clippers teams were, his best teams. Were his best teams at least.
Oh no, like angle the camera so you can.
Okay. Like we're like his best team, just because you had him, you had Blake Griffin, you had a younger, more athletic DeAndre Jordan. You had a couple years of
Jamal Crawford was on that team.
Jamal Crawford,
shoot the blue
JJ Redick, but I don't know, Chris Paul's had shitty luck or something.
Yeah, and I get that it was always like the injury thing. We saw him shake it off for the first time ever this year, where he just like, oh, my shoulder's dead for like 2 games and then come back super solid. But like, I am not exactly sure what is spurring like this success. Like I get that I don't think he's ever had like a big man that's almost as offensively talented as Deandre Ayton, if that makes sense. Like, Blake Griffin was a super dude, but like when he got the jump shot, he went full jump shot too. And then there's DeAndre.
I thought it was a slide into the jump shot, like it didn't just go straight to jump shot. It was kind of gradual, like he started incorporating more stuff, more ball handling, more shooting, and whatever.
Yeah, I remember seeing him shoot a lot of mid-rangers whenever he got the jump shot, and I was like, I don't really like these long twos. Like, they going in, but like, you not mixing this up for real.
Right. But like Ayton's definitely more like balanced player than like Griffin's ever really been. I'm not sure if I'm willing to say like better, like quite yet, but Ayton's also young and will should continue to get better for a while.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, like it might be a combination of like just the team being healthy as well as like maybe it could just be like a team thing. Like this is just a team that like they won it, and like into a certain extent, however intentional, like they might be kind of built for it.
Yeah.
Since because you have Ayton, who's a big body in the paint, and like relative to like most bigs in the league at this point, he is a much more traditional big than like you see even from like other like talented quote unquote traditional bigs. Shit. I'm just gonna hold this shit.
Yeah.
And so but you have him. You of course have Devin Booker, who has his first playoff chance, as well as like Chris Paul, who is easily the best point guard he's ever played with.
Yes. Elevates everybody's game, every team.
Yes. You have Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know, I think they just won it and they play like it. And when you play like it, that of course means you're gonna do little things. You're gonna have that hustle, right? You're not taking plays off. You're not like when you fall, you're just gonna pop right back up. I noticed that with Ayton, and like if somebody just loves the game, that's nice to see, right? But like also for the team, it means like you have fewer situations where it's 4-on-5.
Yeah.
You have fewer situations where like dudes just watch the play happen. And like that can add up, as well as just the fact that like they're good young players who have the benefit of Chris Paul.
Yeah.
So like it's very possible that like, especially after we look back on it, that it's like, oh, this is the best team that Chris Paul played with.
Yeah.
At least they played like it.
Yeah. So not exactly most talented, but I guess
Yeah.
I guess the next thing I want to look at is can we say outside of James Harden,
Mm-hmm.
is Devin Booker the best number 2 Chris Paul has ever had? We're almost number 1 if we're talking about from like a scoring option standpoint, but the person you want the ball in his hands for is Chris Paul.
I mean, yeah, that's outside of Harden. That's very fair. Cause like the only other dude you'd have is like Blake Griffin, which was really good to be sure, but like it's just like you can make the argument, but they're also very different players. It gets kind of hard to like compare for real.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to make the argument, or like somebody feels that way, I'm not about to be like, oh no, you're crazy as fuck. No.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. I like the vibe with this team. This is and I think the part that's making me the most happy, especially if this sweep happens, or even if we go gentleman's sweep with it, isn't this the deepest Chris Paul has went? Like I
believe so.
don't think he has a Western Conference Finals, right?
I don't think so. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, and then what? The other teams don't exactly scare me. What is the Clippers? Kawhi and playoff P, and I like Kawhi a lot. And as long as Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, like they have guys to throw at their wings.
Right.
Like they got a lot of 6'10" dudes that play on the perimeter. Mikal Bridges is one of the better defenders in the league. Like they got bodies that can throw at like what the Clippers are really good at. You can't really tell me Zubac can match up with Ayton.
Nah. I mean, and I think by the numbers, Zubac's probably better than I probably consider him to be, because it's just like he's just kind like you always just feel like he's just kind of there, even though like occasionally you see numbers and you're like, oh, okay, he might be able to do a little something.
He's a good rebounder, post defender, and he's really good at cleaning up the shots. And I guess that's what you're looking for when you're not really a third, fourth option even on that offense.
Right. But like they're gonna be playing the Clippers or the Jazz.
Again, I'm not worried about the Utah Jazz, especially if they ain't got no like point guard for real. Like if they ain't got Mike Conley,
they're gonna have some
long day.
They're gonna have some problems because like going full force or whatever. Mitchell and Booker are gonna kind of neutralize each other. Ayton and Gobert will either neutralize each other or beat the crap out of each other. Probably some combination of both. I don't know what to do with Bogdanovic, admittedly, but him and Bridges. And the thing is, like, Chris Paul is still Chris Paul. And without Conley, you don't really got an answer for that at all.
Yeah. Be real with you, I don't know if Mike Conley's the answer to Chris Paul. That seems like one thing is greater than the other. It helps to have at least 15 and 8.
It's just like my thing is like has always been like has been for a while, as I mentioned. Conley plays his best basketball in the playoffs, and they've seen a lot of each other in the playoffs. So like, it's like it's a situation where like I don't think you have to worry about Mike Conley folding or anything, but like it's a lot of it is going to come down to like how their teammates perform, or like how well they can get their teammates to perform, as well as like adjustments like coaches make and all that, right? And so some of it is very wait and see. And like even if you want to be like Conley isn't like a true neutralizer for Chris Paul, which is fair, right? Like he's beaten Chris Paul before.
Exactly.
So even if you want to be like, oh, Chris Paul's the better player, it's like, yeah, but it's not like Conley can't get him, and like it's not like he hasn't.
He just got to get him 4 times.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he can do that personally.
I mean, the thing is, it's a whole team game. You don't have to outscore Chris Paul every single game or something.
But sometimes you got to win your matchups though, and I don't. Just like thinking about this team, I am not sure how many matchups they truly are going to win, especially at positions that matter. Like I think Mikal Bridges is better than Bogdanovich, or basically any wing they have.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the premier matchup that we haven't even like hinted on is going to be Devin Booker versus Donovan Mitchell. That's going to be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get into the bigs where it's Gobert versus Ayton.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a lot of matchups, and then we gotta talk about like bench stuff. And I'm not saying Cameron Payne is greater than Jordan Clarkson, but this could be fun, or at least entertaining.
Oh, it'll definitely be a good series, and like just if you're a coach, there's probably like a lot of like scheming and stuff you can do to try and like neutralize what the other team does well. Because like you look at matchups and whatnot, and like one of those things is like Gobert, an amazing defender, not much offense to speak of for real, which like isn't that much of a problem until he doesn't have folks setting him up like that.
Yeah.
Which Conley not being there hurts that. Like you still have Donovan Mitchell, but of course, going against Booker, like you should probably have him trying to look for his own shot at least first game, trying and get him in foul trouble, if you can. And like, I don't know, you just throw the body at Chris Paul, like assuming Conley's not healthy, you throw a body at Chris Paul and just like hope to tire him out or something. Hope you get lucky.
That boy vegan, you ain't gonna tire him out. He got all the energy.
You gotta try. Because like, you're not gonna make his passing vision worse.
No.
And like, if he decides to take over the game, he's probably going to, at least for a little while. But like that does kind of seem to me where like the matchups are headed though, because I think the Jazz got their last game against the Clippers, and again this is without Conley. Maybe the Clippers get their shit together.
It's the Clippers. That's loser DNA. That's not even on them.
You're not wrong, but Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, not enough. We gonna see. Wait, how many games they down?
Let me double check. I think it's 2.
Yeah. Like I like this team, but you can't really. It seems like as many tough guys as many like hard-nosed dudes. They also seem like they have like a demoralized factor in them. Like you can hit them hard and they're like, oh, okay, that hit.
They're down 2 games. The third one's today.
So I think like these next couple games are gonna be really important for them, even on like a confidence level, to actually see if they can do something. Because they lost in not exactly a game winner, but Rudy got that game-bending block, which it didn't seem like Buddy was really gonna make the shot anyway. To be honest with you.
Look, demoralize him anyway.
I guess. You know how I am on that. I like to crush people's spirits, but it's just what we gonna get out the Clippers. And I've already been spurned once, believing that they're gonna win the championship. They're gonna have to prove it to me at this point.
If they lose a series though, like, do we get to go back to roasting Paul George for talking about how like Doc Rivers was the problem?
I say we do, and I never got off that man's head. He still got to shake off that playoff P thing. They were like, oh, I'm gonna playoff P. He's like, what? Don't give yourself a nickname and then scrub it up. And I know you got like valid excuses and whatnot because of situations, but like, can't give yourself a nickname like that and not show up.
Nah.
Especially in like multiple series, like.
But the Clippers will be playing at home the next two.
Yeah.
So maybe they get their shit together.
Man, if they take one from them boys at home, it's murder she wrote. Murder she wrote. I'm telling you, it's cake batter. Boys, it's done.
That's fair. What's Rondo been doing? Has he been
making faces?
Mm-hmm.
He's been making faces at Kawhi Leonard since Game 6. It doesn't stop.
Okay. You think if they lose this, wouldn't those two get into it? Well, they try. Rondo tries to beat the crap out of Kawhi.
Ooh, that's two of the biggest hands in the league. I super watched that fight. That's pay-per-view, baby. Imagine them slap boxing.
That
just sound like
rough.
gunshots. Bop, bop. Like, oh no, man.
No, because it's just like Rondo doesn't, like, if he feels like folks aren't showing up, I'm pretty sure he seems like the type of dude to say something, and he'll probably say it early. He's probably been talking since the first loss.
Shoot, man, Kawhi been going crazy though. He's been in the losses. So I think whatever he said to him in Game 6 with the eyes, he was like, "Oh, gotta get it. I'll stop playing with y'all."
But also, didn't Paul George play horribly that first game
It's Paul George
in the series?
Probably. I feel bad for Paul George because at this point I feel like I'm beating up on him.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like he's not fighting back. So you just got to catch these hands, and that's gonna be the day. Like in the back of my head, I want to find somebody else to blame, but I don't think there's anybody else to blame.
It probably ain't. Once again, Calvin McGowan, hope you enjoyed yourself. If you are watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, leave something in the comments. You can also listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You made it this far, once again, thank you. I hope you got a lot done of whatever it was you were working on while listening to this. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.